Now, I was thinking about you over the weekend, though. It really was. I told you this earlier, but I did think about you over the weekend because as a sports, if you're a sports fan of a team, I don't care what
Mm.
team you really, if you are down for that team, you remember moments, and people are like, "How do you remember that? Your memory is so great." No, no, no. My memory is not great. It's just that I am overly invested in this team. I think about this team more than I think about the grown up things that I should be thinking about. For example, I'll tell you this, Terrika, growing up in Akron, Ohio, 30 miles from Cleveland, I remember exactly where I was when Michael Jordan hit the shot. When Michael Jordan hit the shot over the Cavaliers, over Craig Elo, I remember exactly where I was. I was not in the building. I had a job. I was working at Giant Eagle grocery store. I was a bagger. Ooh, my bagging game was nice. I was a bagger and a cashier. So I was on register one, the express lane, and I was on
Uh-oh.
the phone because my boss was upstairs watching the game, and he was telling me as I was bagging somebody, he's like, he was giving me the play-by-play. He was not a broadcaster. He was giving me the play-by-play. Jordan gets it. Oh, they got him. They got him doubled. He shoots it. Game over. I was like, damn.
You will never, you will never forget those moments. You will never forget
Right?
those moments.
Never. So, I mean, I remember where I was. Giant Eagle grocery store, Akron, Ohio, 1989. Okay. So you tell me, as an Indianapolis Colts fan, in 2019, when you heard that Andrew Luck was retiring from football,
Yeah.
and people started to hear about it as he walked off the field of a preseason game like Andrew Luck is done, where were you and what were your thoughts at that time in 2019?
So let me tell you something funny about this, right? August 25th, because that was the day, because I remember the day. Okay. August 25th was the day that Andrew Luck retired. And August 25th is a very significant day for someone like me because it was the day of heartbreak for not one of my fandom, but for two. Because August 25th is also the day that the world lost Michael Jackson. So I was already grieving. I was
Ooh,
already, I was already in my
ooh,
feelings.
ooh.
But here we are again in August 25th. And once again, I am sitting here saying to myself, we can't possibly be witnessing this man 30 years old with so much life left, so much time in his prime, literally getting ready to tell me that he is no longer going to play football anymore. I was sitting at home. I was actually watching the press conference because I'm such a nerd and such a fan that I'm watching the press conference for no good reason. I'm not covering it. I don't have to be here, but I wanted to be here because I'm watching every Indianapolis press conference. And this is what I hear, and my heart drops.
Mm.
It falls completely out of my chest. And here I am thinking at some point, he's going to come back. At some point, he's going to return. He's going to
He'll
miss
be
it.
back. He'll be
He'll be
back.
back. Of
He
course, he'll be
still
back.
loves me. I know he loves me. He's coming back.
I mean, I feel like a girlfriend that's just depressed and waiting for this man to return to her who's never going to return to her. But here's the thing, though, the more that time has passed, the
Mm.
happier I am that Andrew Luck
Ooh.
has decided he don't want to play the sport no more
Mm. See,
for
like this
a
is a sermon.
myriad of reasons. Yeah, it's for a myriad of reasons. More one, the game is changing completely. I mean, every time we turn around, there's some new rule being added. There's some new, all in the essence of safety. So we say, so the game is changing. Number one, number two, I still do not trust Jim Irsay. I don't trust him enough to say, you would have done or he would have done things differently. Now, granted, I think the general manager, Chris Ballard, would have done some things differently. I think that he sees the team and views the construction of the team differently. But I am not entirely sure that Jim Irsay, who gets in his own way, not as far as Jerry Jones, but they in the same conversation, gets
Yeah.
in his own way enough to where the injuries, the reasons, the rationale behind Andrew Luck saying, I don't want to play this game anymore, I don't think that changes. As a matter of fact, after that, we didn't really see the offensive line start to improve or any of that until at least 2021. So with all of that being said, I'm mad at you no more, Andrew. Like, I get it. You didn't need football from the beginning. You got a Stanford degree in architecture. You've got a master's. You didn't need football. But if your love for it is still there, go coach, which he already is. But you ain't got to come back. The NFL does not deserve you.
Well, you know what? But you know what? That's an evolved position you're in. You're in an evolved position, because I can imagine, as somebody who doesn't root for a team, logic takes over. You can look at it. You can look at it coolly. You can look at it soberly. Okay, hey, the man is playing football. He's 30 years old. It's a brutal sport. And if he wants to do something else with his life and utilize his education, good for him. That's what people who are not fans of a team will say. That's what I said about Andrew Luck. And somebody who's not really a fan of the Colts, I was actually happy. I was actually happy. Because y'all, yeah, that's right. I'm saying it. Okay, gloves are off. You have been on a bit of a quarterback odyssey, absent of Andrew Luck. You had Jacoby Brissett. You had Carson Wentz.
Don't remind me.
Matt Ryan. You had Matt Ryan. How about that? Matt Ryan.
I think what's interesting of all of those quarterbacks you named, the interesting part of all those quarterbacks you named is that the most success that we had with any of them came between Phillip Rivers and Gardner Minshew.
I forgot about Phillip Rivers.
That speaks volumes to the kind of seasons that we've had, and more so why Andrew Luck don't need to come back.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, and I wonder, let's say Andrew Luck he did come back, but he didn't come back to the field. First time in 5 years, public appearance in Indianapolis. Here's what he had to say, and I just want to get your take on what he said over the weekend. Here's Andrew Luck.
I think when I retired, that part of it was put to bed in my mind in a very simple sort of direct. There was a lot of complications around it. You know, it's certainly tormented inside. You know, and as you guys saw, you know, that night. But I think that part of it has stayed. Football gave me a lot. Most importantly, again, the relationships and the experiences with people that I loved, like Chuck. I mean, I think part of me feels, and I don't mean this in a cheesy way, but part of me feels like, you know, it's my turn to give back into this game, and this is what feels right at this moment.
You know, he looks like a guy who used to play football. I mean, like, he's got the look. He sounds good. He looks good. We know he can still play, but we're moving on from that. What did you think of that public, just the appearance itself? Not necessarily, Terrika, what he said, but the fact that it took him a while to go back to Indianapolis and give a press conference like that in the first place.
I actually applaud this. I think that, you know, Andrew Luck has meant a lot to the city of Indianapolis, meant a lot to Colts fans, and clearly meant a lot to that organization. They still, you know, for a while, still paying that man's salary, right? Because he still had money on the books. And so I say all that to say, I know, right? You still getting paid. And that is probably helpful too when you're deciding that you don't need to come back, because you still got a check coming in every day. But I think ultimately, one, his relationship with Chuck Pagano would far outweigh any reservations that he would have had about returning to the city of Indianapolis. And again, the city still loves him, still adores him. And for the lack of better terms, most Colts fans that I know and in my circle have gotten over it and more so understands why he made the decision that he made. The man went through multiple surgeries, and he was only like in his 20s at the time. The man's 34 years old now. Like 34. You got 40-year-old Tom Brady still talking about he could possibly still play. So at the end of the day, we all know Luck could probably still toss the rock if he wanted to. But I respect the fact that he is firm on his decision, that he is clearly enjoying life outside of football, and that he still says that he wants to give back in whatever way that is. I would love to see Andrew Luck on the sideline coaching, maybe as a quarterback's coach or something at some point in the league. That'd be great.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.